drug sensitivity tests.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get that from your GP, and is it normally paid for by insurance?
Okay, so are you asking for food sensitivity or drug sensitivity?
Food sensitivity.
The very best test I know for testing for the type of sensitivity that's behind chronic inflammation is something called the ALCAT test. It's usually not available through a regular MD unless they're into alternative medicine. It is available through my website, and Dr. Allen also has that available.
What is it called?
It's ALCAT. And there's absolutely no correspondence between something called classical food allergies and arthritis and chronic inflammation. So that if you eat a food and within seconds or minutes you have a reaction, that's not the type of reaction that's behind arthritis and chronic inflammation. So getting a skin raster test or getting an antibody test is not a very useful measure. They're testing something else. What the ALCAT test does is it takes your blood and it will measure the size of your blood cells and the number of your blood cells before they add an antigen. And then they'll add that food, like wheat or corn or soy, whatever it is they're testing. And then they'll let it sit because this kind of reaction takes place between hours and days. So they let it sit for long enough for all the different reactions types to happen in that time range. And then they look at the size and the amount of cells again. And it catches every single type of immune system reaction in that time range because to either release antibodies, the cell will get smaller, or to gear up to do something that's another inflammatory process that'll have to get bigger, or the number, they'll have to proliferate and change. So it doesn't just catch one type of reaction like an antibody reaction, it catches all the different contributors, which is why I like it so much. I need to warn you that if you do some research out on the internet, there's some what I consider unethical people from the allergy societies, usually in New Zealand and Australia, putting out misinformation about the test. And what they're saying is that the ALCAT test isn't reliable because with antibody tests, you can do the same test 100 times and you'll get exactly the same result. But they're not clinically relevant to this, so it doesn't even matter. So, yeah, I can hit the bullseye every time, but it's the wrong bullseye. The ALCAT test is just a little bit more fluid, and occasionally it will have a false positive, which isn't really a problem in my mind because all you have to do is cut out every problem food. If you cut out one extra, it's usually not a big deal. If you miss one, it is a big deal. So they've weighted the test in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. But because this is something that's in flux and changing, if you retest the same person, you may get a slightly different test result, and so I'm just warning you of that. So again, if you want that test, Dr. Allen offers it through my website. It's also offered. The question about insurance is it very much depends on your insurance policy. About half the people that get the test through me, it's fully covered other than whatever their copay is. Other people, they're paying out of pocket. What you will need is a prescription for an insurance company from somebody that can write one. So usually naturopaths or chiropractors or nurse practitioners or PAs or doctors can write that. And most people, their doctor's willing to write it even if they think you're crazy. You just have to be diplomatic and keep insisting.
You say you don't feel you need to get an antibodies test?
I don't think that they're very useful for people with arthritis. They're giving you the wrong information. They're telling you something, but they're not telling you what you need to know to get well.
I was just wondering if you took before and after HSCRP for your information? Test for the test for
HSCRP.
I sent the C-reactive protein.
I could probably go back and get my C-reactive protein levels from when I was sick. I don't remember what they are, but my blood tests are totally normal now.